So, why release the fear of disease? Fear is actually us predicting a future danger. And this is normally because of an experience in the past of something that is traumatic, or something that we connected to something traumatic that we might experience in the future. And so it's our mind. It's our mind's definition of disease that is really what we should look at. How do we see disease? What is our definition of disease? So I would like to look at the positive and negative messages being given in the media. And I want to look at the confusion that this is creating. So first, we can look at ads about why you should go vegetarian, why you should go vegan, and there are conflicting ads. First, it says why you should think twice about vegetarian and vegan diets. So this is a negative connotation. Why you should think twice about vegetarian and vegan diet. There's another ad, if you'll notice, and that is vegan because my body isn't a graveyard. So you can see that there is an attachment being made here. That when you eat meat, animal meat, that your body becomes a graveyard. But what about if the question here is, what about if you eat plants? Would you call your body a graveyard then? Well, and if so, and if not, why not? So here's Leon with us today, and Leon has been vegetarian also for a long time. I have been vegetarian. I was vegetarian for 29 years, and Leon was into mostly about 90% vegetarian diet before we got together. So, Leon, would you tell us what your experiences with regards to the vegetarian diet, and did you ever attach this word graveyard to being vegetarian? I mean, a meat eater, or have you seen a friend eat meat that you reacted to?
No, I've never attached a graveyard to meat because my starting point for going on a vegetarian diet was basically in relation to my research about vegetarianism being the default diet of human beings because of the human being more related to herbivores. And so I didn't really have positive or negative when it came to meat. I did have a positive with vegetarianism because I was like, well, if our bodies are more created to eat vegetables, then my positivity within that was me feeling lighter, having more energy. Yeah.
So you didn't react to people eating meat?
No.
Okay.
I might have saw myself as being, better than him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Better than other people who eat meat. Yeah, same here. So what happened with me is that I have this pride within me that I'm vegetarian that added value to who I am, basically. And so for 29 years, I would introduce myself in my family, my friends, I'm vegetarian, I cannot eat this, I cannot eat that. As if I do not eat meat, my value would increase as a person. Of course, this is not so, but this was what I attached to eating meat, because I was trying to increase my value. But the question or the thing that I missed is, why am I trying to increase my value? I'm a human just like anyone else, made from the dust of the earth and birthed here just like everyone else. So what I found out is that this need to put value onto myself is based from me devaluing myself within eating meat, within a belief that meat is bad and is causing my heart pains when I was in high school. So then I embarked onto vegetarianism, yoga, meditation. And because I believed it so much so that my friends, mostly about 95% of my friends, are vegetarians, and I do yoga and meditation with them. So then I believed this, and I behaved I animated this belief. I made it real. Not real in the real sense, but a belief that it is real. We will talk about that in one of, but okay, let me explain that. Because you see, when we act out something, it seems like it is existing as an action here, and so it's real, being seen by the eye. But really, if this action is motivated by fear of disease, and my action, for example, is to become vegetarian and to eat vegetarian, which is an action, because I'm moving my mouth, I'm putting in the food in my mouth with my hands, I'm moving towards the vegetarian food, I'm moving to prepare it, I was cooking it, everything. So, was this fear motivated? Was this behavior motivated by fear? Of course, because the reason why I'm being vegetarian is because I was scared and therefore fearful of having heart disease. Now, we discussed in another conference call, and you can get that from http junroca.selz.com. There are many ebooks there and recorded conference and webinars, conference calls and webinars. But we are saying that the behaviors are usually motivated by fear. First, all right, I saw this advertisement that says your body will be a graveyard if you eat meat. Second is that my guru at that time was saying that it is crude energy. Eating dead food is crude energy. And of course, I did not question that at that point. And so, if you look at the amount of negativity that I charge into this word meat, you will realize why I would react to eating in a place where someone is eating meat, or in a place where meat is being eaten. So within this reaction, the body reacts to this by hormonal secretions, wherein it tries to balance out or to put the body back to homeostasis. And so it utilizes hormones to regulate the body to go back to its normal state, because there is, for example, I accidentally went with my friend who's going to a relative's house, and there is this big, huge meat in front of me because they are trying to prepare for a feast. And I was face to face with this big chunk of meat with blood flowing and everything. And so I might not externally show that, because I would suppress it so that they will not react to my reaction, but it is a reaction, and within that reaction, I create an imbalance within myself with regards to blood sugar level or heart palpitations or racing of the heartbeats. This is what happens when we fear something, you see. So really, we can say that the body attacks the mind like a virus when we fear, trying to create balance again inside our body. So this is not the only thing that a vegetarian is confronting, who, like me, for 29 years had these reactions within me. There are other things, of course, like picking up or choosing a relationship partner was difficult, and I even gave up on relationships that would not sustain or support a vegetarian diet that resulted to suffering, not only of those people concerned, but also my kids then. So it's not just the body suffering, but also other bodies reacting to this reaction that I'm having because of this belief. Now, a question you might ask is, well, isn't the vegan diet really healthy? Depends what your meaning is of healthy, but we'll go into that. We'll first look at this. So see this picture in the internet. Someone drew this raw vegan pyramid with an X, no dairy, no meat. So it's implying that it's not complete. All I know is that there's no vitamin B12. I mean, there is a lack of vitamin B12 when you don't eat meat. And they're saying that there are injections or homeopathic remedies, but I haven't really tried those. Really, all my life, I did not. During when I was vegetarian, I did not look at vitamin B12. I was totally convinced that I can get the 8 essential amino acids in a combination of vegetables that I eat, but did not really look at my blood sugar or other metrics for health. But I was just possessed by this beliefs that I took as my truth when I haven't even tested it out. It was just a presumption that it was really okay because the guru, I was doing yoga and meditation at that time, and so the guru, who I believed at that time was supreme, I then followed everything he said, but Now, of course, I realized that within my belief in him being supreme than me, being more than me, I then diminish myself within that, and essentially made myself less than life itself, and made him more than life itself, when in fact we are both birthed here as humans, equal and one. And so this is one important thing that we have to look at. So then what happened was I went into the raw food diet. So another question or another ad that impulses me is it raw or cooked? Should I then in my mind think about it, should I eat cooked or raw? And in the end, of course, I eat raw, because I was watching different raw food preparations, and I tried to prepare also raw food preparations, and I was addicted to the taste of raw food. And of course I attached it to also healthy eating. So Leon, do you have an experience with raw food? I know that when we got together and I prepared some raw food, you were eating some of those also. So did you have any biases within that?
Well, I don't really have a story to tell about raw food. I didn't know much about it before we got together. When we got together, you know, it's just like eating a salad, basically. There's not much I could say about raw food.
Okay, for me, I really like the taste of raw food, and and I will show you later. There is a picture of me eating raw food, and in my assessment, of course, it's a biased assessment. I looked, about 18 years younger when I was eating raw food. But then that's the mind, interpreting how I look. And of course, compared to what? So it's also comparing different pictures that I saw and giving definitions to those pictures. So another thing that I'm confused with before, aside from whether I should eat raw or vegan or raw or cooked, is what sugar should I use? Of course, raw food uses agave nectar, and then there is this message that agave nectar has got a lot of fructose. So then, should we use other sugar substitutes? Should we use sugar alcohols? So then we went into the 21-day sugar investigation. We investigated our mind patterns when we choose which kind of sugar we should use, or what kind of yogurt to eat, sweetened with what kind of sugar. So there is a handout that we're giving in our store. junroca.cells.com, how much sugar. This has got some of the compilation of the different food items that I ate, that where I researched how much sugar or how much carbohydrate is in them. So that's a partial list. There is also a for sale ebook coming out on that. So let's get this straight. Now, let's ask ourselves one thing. Is it about the kind of sugar you use or how much of it you use? Or is it how much is your blood glucose reading? Because why did I say that? I started with counting my carbohydrate intake, and according to what they say I should have. So it took me a while to count the number of carbs for a day's meal, and so I opted to use a blood sugar monitor, the one that's being used by diabetics. I'm not a diabetic, nor Leon. He's not also a diabetic, but we just made use of this monitor to look at our blood sugar. And there is an ebook at junroca.cells.com. You can purchase that, and you can choose how much you're going to pay for it. So have a look. Please visit the store. It is really an eye-opener to find out, how the blood sugar rise and fall. There was one time when I ate two buns of bread from Macaroni Grill. It's a rosemary flavored bread, crispy outside and soft in the inside. And I don't normally eat bread, but at that time I overindulged, and so that was a while back. And so I the next day the blood sugar did not shoot up as I expected it. So there are a lot of myths going on. First of all, the fact that we have different kinds of DNA makeups mean that our diet cannot be the same. I mean, it does make sense, doesn't it? But how come there are diets out there and they're saying this is a good diet? You see, it just doesn't make sense. Even you can see even people who studied and looked at different studies saying that same thing. This is bad, this is good. But in my investigation, different bodies have different needs for different amounts of food items. And so I advise for everyone to test it out rather than believe in what other people say. I urge everyone to check their own food to love their own food, to be aware of what they're eating, to be aware of what's in the food they're eating, and not just trust the feeling, that feeling good, looking good, and feeling light. I trusted that before, and it right now that I'm looking at the blood sugar monitor, it does not follow. Meaning, it's not because I was feeling light that my sugar is low or normal. It isn't. It's different. So it is very important to look at the realities of, is the blood sugar rising and falling, rather than assuming it is this way or that way. So, what is the definition of disease? What is the definition of health? So, the Word Web says that disease is an impairment of health or a condition of abnormal functioning. And the Word Web says health is the state of being free of physical or psychological disease or illness or malfunction. If one is defined within the other, this is going to be confusing, because a definition should have a clear-cut statement of what health really means without being defined within disease. So I found a definition from the World Health Organization, and it says health is physical, mental, and social well-being. So I'm expanding it and saying it is the alignment of physical, psychological, and social well-being, because we are social animals living in a social world where we are being impulsed to buy not what our body needs, but what the money system dictates for us to need to buy. So have a look at that definition: the alignment of physical, psychological, or mental and social well-being, whereby social well-being meaning that we have to create a world where everyone can get the essential things we need to survive. Because if we don't, other people's health will suffer, and when their health will suffer, it will affect the whole. And having said that, I would also like to give this message that we eat from the earth and we breathe the same air, and so we are parts of the whole that is life. And so we have to do what is best for everyone, not just for our good, which is self-interest, but what is best for everyone, meaning that what is best for everyone is essentially what is best for us. So if we look at impairment as disease was an impairment of health, impairment means a symptom or reduced quality or strength. So then health would have the meaning it is a reduced quality of being, free from physical or psychological disease. Then it will not have the essential meaning that we just gave health. So this is why our health should not be defined within disease, and disease should not be defined within health. Because see, disease is not an impairment of health. It is actually a condition whereby the body is in a state of imbalance, and so we have to put it back to balance. And so disease, when we are in a condition of disease, it's a gift, because the disease is going to show us what to work on. And if we face our fears, if we release our fears, and if we correct ourselves in our living, then the disease is actually our best friend. Just like cancer became my best friend when I had cancer, because it showed me issues I had that I never seen before. I didn't know I had fear of disease. I didn't know I had fear of death, because I was always meditating about I'm one with that supreme being. And so my idea of that supreme being is that this supreme being is totally okay. And so I have this idea that I'm totally okay, and so I behave like that. I'm like happy every day. But then to maintain this happiness, I've got to meditate 3 times a day or 2 times a day. I've got to do my yoga exercises. And this was when I was eating raw food and I was doing yoga and meditation, and I'm shifting between raw food and fruitarianism, that I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. And so I faced death. I faced the cancer. Just like everyone who's got a disease, I'm in fear. So I looked at it from a perspective where I put everything before me and said, okay, how can we use everything we've got to be able to assist this body. And so I refused chemotherapy and radiation, because at that point my body is too weak, and I know that it can't tolerate that. I did get surgery, but the surgeon was telling me after the surgery that after a week it will grow back, and that, you know, he's surprised that it's not growing back. So he didn't tell me that before the surgery. So so there are a lot more in this story, and there will be an ebook coming out on about my cancer story and how I healed myself and made cancer my best friend, or see cancer eye to eye as part of me, as part of the whole that is life. So I'm not implying that we should have a disease to be able to face our fear. In fact, what I'm doing right now is releasing my fear of disease through self-forgiveness, and then correcting my living. So what does that mean? Correcting my living. After I had surgery, I went into Breatharianism. I tested out Breatharianism because there was this video that I watched in YouTube, or this guy claimed that he's vegetarian and was not eating for a year, and then I saw him running so fast. He's a fitness instructor, and so I was like, I asked myself, where is his energy coming from? I want to know. I want to test this out. So there will be also an ebook about the word no, because this is what drove me to experiment. Is I want to know. I always want to know. Maybe I'm coming from fear of not knowing. Not maybe, but I'm pretty sure I did at that time. So we are going to talk about that, and in that ebook, and also what self-forgiveness is there for me to release that. So with all these definitions and definitions defined within another word, and also attached to another word, and also advertising, impulsing my desire for health and fear of disease. So I can say that we really don't know what we're talking about. We are confused because we're relying on information. What assisted me so much is that I blogged about what I eat daily. That is the one that really assisted me. Of course, that's time consuming, and also a very simple thing that is difficult to do when you have a lot of things to do. But somehow, if we unconditionally love ourselves, we will do that. You can call it a diary, a journal, a log. I prefer to call it a log. And it has the facts. Let's say, for example, I ate this, and this is my weight this day, and this is my blood sugar level. You know. So there is also I will come up with a handout on that too at the store, junroka.selz.com. So watch out for that. So we are confused with we defined words and we gave them value that is more than or less than what they really are. So this is something that we really have to look at. Let's say, for example, what positive words did you attach to the word health? Freedom, lightness, happiness, and other words. All right, those are my words. What negative words did you attach to the word health? Difficult, deprivation, diet, exercise, hard, money, control. So we are dealing with word relationships here. What positive words did you attach to the word disease? Mine was relax, because when I have a disease, I can stay home and relax. I can stop what I'm doing. I get care. I got flowers, all those sort of things. What negative words did you attach to the word disease? Hospital, nurses, medicine, insurance, healthcare. What negative words did you attach to the word disease, Leon?
Death. Being unhealthy. Weak. That's just about it.
What about positive words you attach to the word disease?
Relax. Relax more.
We're the same in that. And what else?
That's just about it. Laziness. Same as relax.
Okay. So with all these different positive and negative words, I mean words that we gave a negative and a positive value to within our mind, one person can say one thing and that person can impulse us to act either positively or negatively. Why? Because we have given either a positive or a negative value to this word. And this constant push and pull, and these definitions that are biased really affects the way we behave. So it affects the body also, because if you react negatively because you have given it a negative value, you will fear that particular food. Let's say, for example, someone is saying, oh, I'm eating a nice beef stew and you're vegetarian for 29 years, just like me, and of course you're inside your mind, if you are in a restaurant with this guy, you will be back chatting about this meat. Oh yeah, you're a killer or something like that. And I'm a saint because I only eat vegetables, not really understanding that I'm also killing the vegetable. The vegetable actually is alive. It takes nutrients from the soil. The roots grow also. But because we are in our mind, we cannot even hear the vegetable screaming. So we are all killers. So here we should acknowledge this this role of plants and animals, that they are here as part of the whole of life, and so they are here to support the body to survive. Until one day, we stop the mind. And if we stop the mind, then we will see what's going to happen. Okay, there's a thing, okay, we might stop eating, but why should we? When, in fact, these beings, like the animals, the plants, the humans, are interacting with each other, trying to express themselves here. And so why not just enjoy each other's expression? Rather than judging animal meat as bad and plants as good. And sometimes we just say, all right, this particular food item is bad. But within that, we do not really understand. We're even judging the water in the plant. The Emoto findings on water is about the energetic part of the word, which is our mind definition of the word. And that's what he read. It's not the word as what it is, a sound that we can live as living words. So let's say, for example, health. If we define it as absence of disease, and you wrote down health there, okay, you have a positive definition of it. And disease, you have a negative definition of disease. But it is not aligned to what is best for all life, because how can disease or the bacteria and the virus be working against life when we are all parts of the whole that's supposedly going to assist each other, So this is our own fear of dying. This is our own fear of disease that makes us judge the animal meat, the viruses, as bad. But really, if the body is pushing the mind, what we have to do is to just release the fears that we have. Face it, release it, and then correct ourselves in our use of words. Redefine the word, expand the word, just like I expanded the definition of health as the alignment of physical, psychological, and social well-being. It's just like the alignment of the internal and external ecosystem. the external ecosystem includes the ecosystem of money, because money is actually coming from the earth. The bills come from plants, and the cents come from metals from the earth. So the value of money is equal to the value of life. We have given it a more than value or a less than value. We even fear surviving without it. So all these fears that we have are fueling our mind patterns. Our mind patterns are like the way we do something. So our behavior, even saying the word hey, hi, hey, there's this idea there, there's this belief, this idea that, the reason why he said hey to me was because I'm special to this guy, for example. But it's an idea based on a belief that I have less value, and so someone has to give me value and validate me. I mean, there are a lot of things in different little things that we do. And so we have to investigate. So let's look at some pictures here. This picture is when I was doing raw foods, about 2008, after my surgery, and this is also after my surgery. I made this cake. It is raw, and also this one here is after my surgery when I had cancer, and this was when I was investigating breatharianism. About the 6th week, I slowly removed food and water over 6 months. This is gonna be in an ebook too, and there will be videos to show what I how I was living when I was breatharian and when I was in raw food, and what happens now. I mean, how did I change? That is a very important thing to consider, because after and while releasing the fear, this gift of life emerges. And so I was able to do different ebooks about my life and how I changed, for example, embracing all food items and not judge some as good or bad. And then, and so within this, I was able to also create some recipes that is very interesting, because what I saw in my blood sugar reading is that meat, which I judged before, has a key role in blood sugar levels, and that will be in an ebook coming out soon. So please go to the store, junroca.selz.com. Do not type www. Type http. //junroca.sales.com. Visit our website, budsoflife.org, and be with us in this journey. The gift of life is just something that we receive when we face our fears. So don't miss that. Receive it with gratitude. Thank you.